Well, Representative Rulli, first time we're speaking since you've been sworn in, and it's in some very historical circumstances in our country. First, let's go back to Saturday, your reaction to what happened to President Trump and kind of your emotions and how you've dealt with the situation.
Shock. I actually had just got home from work and the TV was on. So I actually saw it in real time. Just utter shock. Butler, I think it was 4 or 5 years ago. I went to a rally there. It was tremendous. The people were incredible, lots of love. And it just was quite a memory. And here we are here with completely different results. I think this was such a big fear for all of us, and then it happened. I do give President Trump a lot of credit for the courage. I mean, he's like a strong lion to get right back up. They said that he actually wanted to finish his speech. It was very Teddy Roosevelt-esque, what a great patriot. And we're lucky that it turned out how it did and that he's okay.
And there's been a lot of talk since then about maybe toning down the rhetoric, the conversations that you're involved in every day, quite frankly, as well as every other lawmaker across our country. So what's kind of your approach and what's your message to folks after we saw this happen?
Well, we are one country, and anyone that's watching you right now, you have somebody that you know or love, or a neighbor, or family member, or coworker who sits on the different political side of the aisle. That doesn't mean we can't be friends. We are countrymen and countrywomen together, and we have a bond of the flag, and we have a bond of our culture. A lot of us, my ancestors, all came over on a boat. We are unified by this great country and the freedom that we enjoy. And moving forward, I think we have to tone it down a little bit and lower the temperature so we could get to a place where we can exist in a civilized way.
And this shifting gears, you were that happened Saturday, and then probably Sunday or Monday, you were on a plane heading to Milwaukee for the convention, the first one as a member of Congress. How's that kind of been for you the first couple of weeks, and then obviously getting to that convention this week as Congressman Rulli?
Yeah, well, we drove up, my crew and I, and we got here. We've been here for almost 2 days. It's very electric, very emotional. We had a big surprise yesterday at the end of the session. We had President Trump showed up, and being in Ohio, we're all celebrating J.D. Vance, and this will be the first time I am told that in Ohio that an Ohioan would sit as a vice president in that seat. Even though we've had so many wonderful presidents over the last couple centuries, this is the first time that we're going to have an Ohioan as a vice president, and also an Ohioan that was a former Marine. So we are very happy about that. That has sort of taken the Ohio delegation to a new level. My last month being in Congress, I've become friends with a lot of people that are members of the delegation of Texas and North Carolina and Kentucky in particular. So they're all very happy for Ohio, and it turned out pretty good. Of course, when the president came on the floor yesterday, very emotional. A lot of people were openly weeping. It looked like he got emotional. It was a moment of healing for our party. Our party has a couple fragmented parts, but none of that was obvious yesterday. It was one party, the grand old party, united.
You mentioned your first month, you made some friends. There were a few things we spoke about the night you were elected, actually, that you said, I got to get to work to right away. One of that is some of the flooding that we saw along the Ohio Valley and Mahoning Valley back in April. Have you been able to bring those concerns up to some of your colleagues right off the bat?
I actually have. We have a couple projects in Marietta, and I'm still dealing with Don Jones Jr. to see what can be done there. I'm trying to see if there's any money left over that they started in November for this Congress. Every Congress is a 2-year period. So they had earmarks for waterways and water problems throughout the state. So I put a petition to see if there's any money left in there to address problems in Belmont, Jefferson, and down in the Washington County.
How about just the adjustment in general? Actually, I wanted to ask you this first, though. You have some parallels with JD Vance in the fact that you're not lifelong politicians. You're people that have gotten into politics a little bit later in life and kind of had a different path beforehand. Obviously, you working in the grocery store with your family, but what can you say about that? And maybe seeing, and with the former president too, not having that political background. Do you think the Grand Old Party might be changing a little bit with some of the types of people it's attracting to lead?
I do. I mean, JD Vance is a dear friend. I met him when he spoke at the Presidential Library, William McKinley, years ago, and he's just incredible. He's so in touch with the working man. If you know the story of his book, he comes from nothing. I mean, absolutely nothing in Appalachia. So, I mean, his story is just incredible. And he got involved later. He had a whole other career. I did. President Trump did. I think the Grand Old Party now is a party of a populist movement, a movement where the working man, the forgotten man, has just been neglected by both political parties of the past. And I think the new modern day Republican Party is addressing that. That's number one, the working man. Let's face it, it's a lot harder than it was 4 or 5 years ago for the average family of 4 to even exist. I mean, the cost of just putting gas in your tank, of rent, of insurance, anyone that had their insurance bill come for, whether it's the car or the actual building, we're just getting brutalized every month with bills, just the bills to live. So I think President Trump and definitely President Trump and JD Vance and myself and our whole delegation, we want to address that. We are very concerned with the working family so they could have a better life in America.
I do want to go back and just briefly talk again about a little under a month that you've been officially in office as the congressman representing Ohio 6. What is something else maybe that's piqued your interest, or maybe something that you're like, I could see yourself getting involved in?
Well, I'm very, very graced to have two wonderful committees. Chairman Jordan and Speaker Johnson have put me on Judiciary and on Education and Workforce, two tremendous A-list committees. I'm thrilled and honored to be there. When I travel the southern part of the district, which would be a lot of your viewers, a lot of the people feel that a lot of bad players have gotten away with illegal things that they have done. So in Judiciary, we're going to hold people responsible. We're going to bring them in front of hearings, and we're going to see what's what. It's a different level of intensity than it was in the State House. You vote 3 or 4 times a day on the session floor. It's a challenge, and I mean, at this stage of my life, I love the challenge. I'm very excited about it.
Let's just kind of wrap up with what's ahead the rest of the week. Day 2 of the RNC today. What are you kind of looking forward to? What are some of the conversations that you're going to have, and maybe some of the people you're going to speak with, whether it be within the Ohio delegation or with other members of our country, to try and get some stuff in line at this convention?
Well, tonight there's going to be a special treat. We're going to have another friend of mine, Bernie Moreno, is going to address the convention. And so, I mean, Bernie Moreno is just a terrific guy, and we got to get him to take that seat. So he'll be addressing the convention. And there's, I think tonight there's a little bit of a different guest that we're going to have. Not the biggest fan of a lot of our people, but it's a healing process. They invited Nikki Haley, and she accepted, and she will be coming to speak to the convention tonight. We need the entire party to unite. After Saturday, there is no room for a division, not only with the Grand Old Party, but with the whole country. I think you're going to see a lot of Democrats go across the aisle and vote for President Trump. I think the courage that you saw Saturday night with him rising up and letting everyone know that they're not going to stop, as evil will not prevail in this country. It's time for us to unite, and you're going to see that today. And then tomorrow night is Wednesday night. This is when we'll nominate JD Vance, and JD Vance will take the role as vice president, and he'll address the convention. And then we're going to conclude with the big guy. You're going to see Donald Trump up there. He has a bit, there's little jokes that he's even making where whether you compare him to, the boxer, or whether you compare him to Van Gogh with the ear, he's making the most of it. It's bandaged up pretty good. And after Saturday, God really intervened with this, and we're lucky to have the president with us at this convention right now.
And to close, we'll close with this message of unity and coming together. Do you think that's sustainable for both parties? But it starts with the individual.
It has to be. this is the greatest country that has ever existed. And I don't care what political party you're in, it has to happen. We have to love our brothers and sisters. We're all one human, and even better than that, we're Americans. So when you're an American, when you're at the gas pump, you don't really ask somebody what their political affiliation is. You just say hello. We need to get back that a simpler America.
Representative Rulli, thanks so much for taking some time with us here this week while you're at the RNC. Look forward to speaking with you again soon.
Appreciate you.
All right. Thank you.